A while back, I got this free three-wheeler and I got it running, but not driving. So in this episode, I'm hopefully gonna get it driving, and I have some parts three-wheelers to help me out and parts from eBay. So hopefully this thing will look decent and run even better. The first part is basically disassembling the whole front end. I've been taking this apart and I ran into a little problem. I'm gonna need a hook wrench to take this guy off. I probably could use vice grips, but I don't want to damage anything. I just got to thinking about this little piece, and I was thinking if I have a hook wrench, it's gonna be awkward to unscrew, blah, blah, blah. So I just decided to grab it, and turns out you can just unscrew it by hand. Up here is all these little ball bearings, and then down below, ones will drop down too, so make sure you have a towel or something to catch them. After a little bit, you can just pick them out. This front end's taken apart, and before I just swap this one over, I decided I'm gonna add a couple things to it, like a new tire. I got the front pretty disassembled. I got it roughly put on just to make sure it fits. The handlebars definitely need some help, so time to just chip away at some stuff. For the 200X swap to work, I have to cut this off. Took the tire to the tire shop, thought I might get a hookup. Turns out there goes 20 bucks, but they did it a lot faster than I could. So now it's time to basically just assemble the whole front end. This front assembly, there's really nothing to it. I'm not filming it, I'm just kind of doing it. It's kind of hard to film, and it's pretty easy. As just take it apart, and then as you put it back together, it's literally the same, just one or two modifications that I'll tell you about. Like, you have to use the 250 SX nut. I don't know if I've said how I acquired these front forks, but I got this 200X for parts off Facebook, and it was $250. I don't quite know if it was a good deal or not, but to get these forks on eBay, they are like $200, so that's how I'm doing this swap. Something to keep in mind is I have my jack here, but I also have this metal, so if the jack slips, the metal will catch it, because like I said, these forks on eBay are like $200, so that would not be a cheap thing if this thing just fell straight onto its forks. I used the little impact on these, not the big one, no torque wrench. I think it should hold. There is 4, and it's not like my front tire is going to be on the ground very much anyways. These are the ones that came off the 200X. They were bent. I bent them, I think, somewhat straight. I got some cheap grips, made them fit. This says Honda. It was like $5. I spray painted, did not do a good job. You're supposed to do spray paint in like, what, 60 degrees, and it's somewhere around the 30s at my place, so that did not come out very great. It looks better than it did, though, before, and now it's time to just add all the accessories, thumb throttle, this, that, and the other thing. The front end does look pretty nice, though. My new throttle cable isn't even close to my old throttle cable, but thankfully, the 250SX carburetor is very similar to a TRX 350, and I had one of those laying around, so I'm just going to switch the cables around. This new electronic system looks nice, but it's definitely not OEM. It doesn't fit right. Granted, these are 200X handlebars. The start just doesn't quite feel right, but it's better than what I had. I took a Dremel to these new grips, so my thumb throttle actually will go. These are pretty messed up, but I think I have it somewhat figured out. This never had anything, I believe, and then if we go over to the other side, this is how this all connects. I'm pretty sure the green's the ground, at least that's how it is on my other three-wheelers, and the rest was just pretty much plug and play. This doesn't lead to anything for right now. I think somewhere around here has to be the light, but my light never came on this. I'm going with a plastic gas tank on this three-wheeler, and of course, it doesn't fit. Surprise, surprise, I've had this problem before. So I took a Dremel to it and made it fit. So now it's time to somehow jerry-rig this up and see if it can work. I've just been fiddling around with the gas tank, seeing if this thing will start. And these Pro Taper grips are already falling apart. I didn't think this carburetor was getting gas, so I did a little bit of a in-machine carb clean, pulled the jets out and stuff. Definitely was some clogged up parts, so hopefully now it'll be getting gas and ready to rip. For plastics, I'm going to use these 185 S1s. I was thinking I could use the seat, but looks like the seat pan doesn't have much holding it together. Something's not working. This thing starts when I look at it, when I put brake clean in it, but when I put a gas tank on it, fill it up with gas, nothing. This was my last attempt, just an old Predator tank. Well, actually, it's brand new. It's just old. Ran a gas line just straight down to the carburetor. It's pretty full, too. and nothing. I don't know what is going on. I think my carburetor is pretty clean. I think I'm going to switch it out for my TRX 350 one. I don't know if that's a swap that I can do, but I think I'm going to try it. Yeah, buddy! Oh, man! That's how it's done. Carb off the TRX 350, 1987, I believe. And boom, primed itself. That was no star fluid, kicked right up. I definitely got a burst of energy to work on this thing now because it was running and then it wasn't. Now that it is, I'm excited to see how this thing finishes up. I just took it for a run. It shifts pretty good, it runs pretty good. Now it's time to button things up. Where my oil filter is, it is leaking, so that's obviously a problem. Then I started thinking back to when I originally tried to get this thing running, and I found this. I somehow managed to find it again, and I was like, oh, this probably doesn't matter, so I didn't put it in. Well, turns out I'm pretty sure it goes right there, and that's where it's been leaking out of. I got everything reassembled, and as you can see, the side of my engine is covered in oil. Well, I got a great quick fix for that. Get some brake clean, spray it down, comes right off. Except I'm out. I switched the tires over to 200X tires. The tires that were on it did not work because the valve stem was not all the way out, so when I went to pull it out, it broke. I got this front piece of plastic on. I put this back on. Apparently, this is my reverse. The switch goes down, pulls the cable. I got the gas tank down. I need to vacuum out right there, I'll show you. My air filter would get dirty pretty quick. I also need to clear out the whole air box. It's disgusting. So hopefully I'll have a clean air filter in here after just a little bit. I got a problem. This air hose connector is just straight garbage and it's not getting sucked up. It's like glue. So I got to come up with another option. I think I finally found an air filter for this. I hope this works. To make these 185S plastics fit and the 200X seat, this is what I did. I got a leather glove so the screws don't hit the gas tank. I think I showed you guys the mount that I made. Yeah, there it is. Don't look at the welds. And then on the back, I made this crossbar. I drilled a hole in the plastic, this steel beam I made, and then these are the original bolts in the 200X seat. So it's just all bolted together. And it really doesn't look too bad. I had to drill this little piece out so it wouldn't melt to the exhaust. I don't recommend doing this, but for the plastics, I tried sandpaper, but I actually ended up using a wire wheel. A lot of people probably would tell me to use a blowtorch, but look, in my defense, all this stuff most likely would have ended up in the landfill. So I'm just out here trying to keep this 250SX alive, and I'm actually going to use my stuff. This is not a garage princess. It's upside down. Yep, that's me. Flipped it first time out. To get this thing to idle right, I had to adjust the thumb throttle. I didn't say in the video, but I'm pretty sure that I used the 250 SX jets in the 350. This is a video from a while back before the three-wheeler had the 200X tires on it. If you can tell, the tire sits at a little bit of an angle. It's because something with my axle is messed up, but I'm not going to fix it right now because it still rides just fine. The front shocks definitely need rebuild. For now, I just occasionally fill them up with air. The shock shields or shock protectors, whatever you want to call it, they're from Amazon. They look good. I don't have any complaints. The main reason I made this video is just so you guys could see what I did, maybe motivate you, whatever it did. Hopefully it did something positive. I just enjoy making videos. And to conclude this, make sure you guys are keeping these old vintage things alive.